I was just calling to say hi. Call me back.
The itsy bitsy spider went up the water spout.
Hey guys, if anyone's here, we're still waiting.
Down came the rain and washed the spider out.
Is this even public is the question.
Up came the sun and dried up all the rain.
Yeah, it is.
The itsy bitsy spider went up the spout again.
Can you guys hear that creepy music? Trying to turn it on.
Hello.
Hey, Maribel. Sorry, guys, I'm kind of tired today. I almost fell asleep a second ago, to be honest.
Now I feel guilty.
Well, I was just talking to my kids, and I played them like 5 seconds of this little video that I've got ready for tomorrow, and they're like, "Oh my God, turn that off! It's so scary."
Oh, that's
I hope
fun.
I didn't give them nightmares, but I didn't think it was that scary. But they're, 6 and 8, so.
Chat. Yeah, we kind of made a last minute decision to go live. I was live on mine listening to some Wade Wilson while Rob was doing his call. So, but open the dashboard. We have Maribel in here. The problem is I can't see how many people are.
I was wondering if we were even actually live, because I can't either. I can't see.
You are live because.
Well, I can see the chat, but I can't see the people in the chat. I don't think I actually ever can. But
if you click on chat comments, it should shift over.
Yeah, it says on YouTube, it says there's 5 people here. So.
Well,
but tell me about this petition.
Okay.
Is it a real petition or is it a scam?
So it is a petition, you guys, and it's getting more. And I want to first start out by saying, in no way are Rob and I saying that she is responsible for anything or has any involvement. We are just trying to put the facts out there for you guys and help in any way we can to answer questions. So, with that, so Rob has the petition pulled up so I can see it here. Let's see.
I have not signed this petition. I don't think I like signing petitions because I never know if I'm really signing the thing. I don't know how many signatures you need for this either.
Let's take a look at it. I'm trying to well, so kind of why we wanted to talk about the petition, I believe it was started a while back, but with the new video we all just saw, right, with her at the service, people are like, oh my gosh, she's in Colorado now. We know she's there. We know she's not out of the country. I'm signing the petition. We got to get something done. That's kind of what I think is sparking people to sign this. So it is so little that I can't read. But let's see. if I can go to the website.
So I just clicked on somebody in chat by accident. I don't know if it's like muting them or not. But I don't know how to gift. There's no way to gift memberships as far as I can tell. But I might have accidentally muted Maribel. There's a weird symbol.
No. Let's see. Timeless, you need to have gifted memberships. Oh, I think that's what you do like in your settings so that you can.
I've never seen it. I don't think there is a gifted setting.
Yeah, Mirabelle. That's kind of, yeah, she's there. Can you see her in the chat?
Yeah, but when I clicked on her, she's got a weird symbol over her name now.
I don't know why.
Hey, Katrina.
It's like an S or something, but
yeah, I don't know what it is.
That is kind of what I wanted to chat about. Rob, did you want to kind of like go through the petition, or are you kind of feeling like, I
mean, I can read it. There's a lot of typos in it, and that's why I'm like, is this real? And then when you get to the end of it, it asks you if you want to donate, and I'm like, why would I want to donate for this?
No, about the part. Let's see.
But I haven't signed it, and I'm not sure that I don't know. Maybe if there was like 100,000, maybe I would, but I don't know anything about where this petition came from, but I really don't like how it says donate today at the end. Have you already signed it?
I did not. I want to have faith that
it sounds like you're scared to sign it also.
Well, I want to have faith that the FBI did their thing, and also I kind of want to talk about the response that I've gotten from officials.
Okay. Well, I can read through it and I can kind of fix the typos. But I think, I don't know, it's like the more that I look into the Chris Watts case, the more I read about the different scenarios that people have come up with that talk about her involvement, and the fact that she was seen in Colorado, all those things starting to add up. And I'm like, well, if she's not in witness protection, then she didn't give anybody any information so that she got put in some kind of protective custody thing or something. So if that's the case, then they must have cleared her. The only thing that bothers me is that interview. The guy's like, well, this is a reason for me to be suspicious. I'm suspicious too. But then when I see the fake stuff out there, I'm like, really? So I don't know. I don't know that she had any involvement. I know that she should have been investigated a little further, at least actually cleared. But it does seem like whenever they did, when Chris Watts confessed, they kind of just like wrapped everything up, and that was it, I think.
Yeah, deal. I'll read just to give you kind of a breather, and you can look over the petition another time if you want. So you guys, on March 6th, I wrote the Frederick, Colorado Police Department because I started doing a book review on the letters to Christopher. And when I was doing that review, a lot of you were, outraged that she wasn't interrogated, right? She was interviewed. So I reached out to them explaining I just launched this YouTube channel. I said I'm a former journalist and I would like to kind of speak for my viewers, and they would like to know, is this case officially closed? Is there any update in the case? So this is their response to me. This is in the folder, but don't feel the need, Rob, that you have to pull it up or anything. But it says, Jennifer, thank you for your email. This case was thoroughly investigated by the Frederick Police Department, the Colorado Bureau of Investigation, and the Weld County District Attorney's Office. It is a closed case. We believe our police department was very diligent in keeping the public informed as we investigated and navigated through our community's recovery. Out of respect for the victims, the family, and those deeply impacted, we believe justice has been served and there is a sense of closure. You may request a copy of the police report, and then they provided the link to me. And I replied back, I have your reports. We have the 2,000 pages of discovery. So then I reached out that day and about a week later to District Attorney Michael Rourke. No response. So with that, Rob, if you kind of want to chat about this petition, I mean, obviously I'm not the only person in the world who has reached out, right, to Michael Rourke.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. I know that I've heard lots of people talk about that district attorney, and they keep saying stuff like, oh, well, he's not going to win the election next time or whatever, but he keeps winning, so he must be doing something right. People there like him, right?
No one ran against this year, though.
What's that?
No one ran against him this year. There's one to run against him, so you're stuck with him.
I guess that's a good point. Yeah, I didn't know that.
I mean, yeah, I was pretty shocked until I Googled it thinking, there might be a chance this does get reopened if a new DA comes in, kind of like Menendez brothers, right? A new DA in Los Angeles took over. So I thought, maybe there's a chance. And then I looked and no one ran against him. So, he ran again. I'm kind of surprised. Maybe someone from a smaller town wouldn't come in and try to run against him to get their career going. Because Colorado, has a lot of cases I think someone could learn from. Maybe not in Frederick, but around the state itself, I think would be a good experience for someone trying to get into a political career.
Yeah, I'm just looking through the comments. I don't usually pay attention to this part. Sorry.
Yeah.
But I figured out what that symbol was. I think we pinned a comment. And I was just looking through some of the other comments, and who was it? Somebody just asked a question and I lost it. Wheels of Life says, this is graphic, but was it confirmed that he choked them? I'm pretty sure they all had in their autopsy, they were.
Right? I mean, Shanann was choked, strangled, but the girls...
asphyxiation. I think that's the actual term, right? Yeah. And I guess technically you could be asphyxiated if you're drowning in oil, but I don't think there was a lot of fluid in their lungs, according to the autopsy.
And I think it was just Bella who had the fluid in her lungs.
But sometimes I wish I was like a doctor, like a medical examiner, and I can actually look at this stuff and fully understand it. But I have to look up everything. Like when I see a word or a phrase, I actually went through and looked up a lot of the information on there. This was like a year ago, but I did just to try to understand it. And there's a lot of terms that don't make sense because I'm not, in that field. But, what do you guys think? Are you going to sign the petition? Yeah. I don't know how to make a poll, but I would if I could. But I'm
Oh,
going to go ahead and read the petition just to read it to you guys. There is typos in here, so I don't know how long this petition's been out, but it is something that people have been talking about. I've heard them say it many times, well, she's got to be investigated. And I think this would be the way to get somebody's attention. I don't know if it would actually, like, it's not like some kind of like, well, if you get enough signatures, it has to be done. Somebody has to like see it and be like, okay, there's something here. Maybe we should look at it. And then in that case, they would investigate her. Um, but I'm not totally convinced that she really had much to do with it. If anything, I think, probably just some kind of weird argument that pushed him over that she never talked about. It could be something as simple as that. But then there's a few things that's just weird, right? The cell phone ping thing, the car that her truck was in the neighborhood, or a truck that looked like hers. She sold her truck like a day or two later. Do you know exactly how long after this happened that the truck was sold?
well, here's the thing. I don't know if that is 100% accurate.
See, that's what I'm talking about. There's a lot of misinformation out there.
Yeah, and I'm the type of person, unless I see like a bill of sale, to me it's speculation, to me it's rumor. Like we know the Watts house sold, right? Because we can look at property records. We know that's
right.
Mm-hmm. Just because a similar car that she had may have been for sale in that area, I don't know. Like I think that's
I don't even know the model of her truck. Yeah, I feel like I should, but I don't. But I didn't know that was also possibly fake, the truck sell, because that's pretty weird. Like, was there something in the truck that she didn't want authorities to find? That's what I used to kind of think.
Yeah.
But that driveway footage is kind of like, the more I look at it, the more it feels fake, and the more I'm not thinking the same thing I was thinking like 6 months ago. If they're faking that, what else are they faking? And I mean, if it was really from the FBI, why isn't it on the FBI website?
Well, it's on the Weld County website. And
the new footage or the old footage?
The original
zoomed in footage?
Remember, we were talking in the original footage. I have a copy of it. You do not see this shadow of a person walking by. So that's why I feel people could be altering the footage with, I mean, you can use a simple edit. Well, it's not simple. I'm not going to say Adobe and Avid are simple editing systems, but with a higher quality editing system, you could put shadows in there, put anything in there. It's very easy. But in the original video, I've watched it several times and I do not see the shadow of the woman walking. However, yes, I've seen the footage out there on YouTube, but I'm not getting that from officials. So that's where I'm like,
yeah, the story I heard is that it was the original, driveway footage, but somebody from the FBI got it and enhanced it. And when they enhanced it, that's when you could see everything. But it would make more sense and feel more real if it was on the FBI's website,
Yeah.
But it's not.
It would be more of, you guys need to release all of this investigation. Like, if she was pinging in Frederick because she was snooping around to see if she could see, Shanann and Chris kissing goodbye that morning,
like stalkery vibes or something.
Tell us, let us know. Then that would make us go, oh, okay, that's why she was there. Someone also mentioned, where did Jim's cell phone ping that morning? Did they check his phone records? Frankie Rusick says on their YouTube page that she was fully investigated, and kind of makes it sound like there's things that we as the public were not able to see that they know. And I feel people would let this go if they just are forthcoming with all of.
That is something I would like to see too. Like if people could let this go, like they tell us, hey, she's got an alibi. She was physically somewhere else when this happened. Or if, she actually told authorities what that 111-minute phone call was about. The fact that she can't remember it, it's little things like that just makes me suspicious. It doesn't mean just because you're suspicious. I've said this a bunch of times. Just because something's suspicious, it doesn't make you guilty. It just makes, other people curious, if you're telling the truth or not. I don't know what happened. I would like to know what happened. I would like to know for sure. Like, could you imagine if she did nothing?
Yeah.
She like had nothing. Her whole life is ruined. She's hiding out somewhere for the rest of her life. And
Yeah.
I mean, I would be afraid if I was in that situation and I didn't do anything. I know how the public is. The public is brutal.
Yeah.
They're not all like me with the kind of like open mind and, I can consider multiple things but I want to know why they didn't investigate her, why that detective said, I got all these reasons to be suspicious, but he didn't do anything about it.
Yeah, I really regret that Tammy Lee didn't take over and investigate her, honestly. Because I feel like she was only interviewed by Kevin Kovac instead of Coder and Tammy Lee, who, they're the big guns that they brought in to start interviewing Chris. So why didn't they ask her a couple more questions, and
I feel like if I was a police officer investigating something, there's going to be a lot of things that, are going to probably lead to nowhere, but you got to find out if they actually lead to nowhere, right? I mean, you could just always go off assumptions and you're going to be wrong half the time, at least half the time, I don't know, but I'll read this petition and I'll try to edit the typos, but it does sound interesting. Do you know who the person is that wrote this petition? Because it states in here that someone who was deeply affected by the loss. It sounded like family member, but the name doesn't ring a bell to me.
Yes, the name doesn't ring a bell to me either. And it was sent to me. I'm guessing it was maybe someone from the community. I've been meaning to Google the person's name, and I think it'd be great if you and I reach out, Rob, and see if we can talk to this person and ask them, why are you deeply affected? Do you live in the community? Were you one of the first responders who had to be on the scene? I would love to know who this person is. And you got to admit, it takes guts to start a petition against someone.
Well, unless it's a fake name.
True.
Because, when you sign these petitions, you're putting a name on there, but, you're not putting your social on there too. So there's no way to really tie it to anyone in particular. So, but I'll read it. I think it's a good idea. I don't know that, even 10,000 signatures would be enough to get the attention of somebody. It'd have to be like 100,000, maybe, 500,000.
Yeah. And after you go through it, I would love to even read this response too from the Attorney General's office, just to kind of show us this petition is not going to do anything.
Okay, so I am going to read this. Maybe you can you add stuff to the
folder?
Present? Is there no? I mean, do you see the present button on here? Because I think if you can, you might be able to just put it in there, and then I can share it, and then people could see it.
No, unfortunately on the app, there's not.
Okay.
But I'm on my laptop where I can add something into the folder for you. Or
Okay.
you pin it like,
Okay.
I'll pin it in the YouTube comments section for people to see.
Okay. All right. So All right, guys, this is the petition. The petition is reopen criminal investigation against Nichol Kessinger in the Watts murder case. As someone deeply affected, and remember, this is not me saying this, this is the petition, the petitioner. As someone deeply affected by the tragic loss of 4 innocent lives in the Watts murder case, I am compelled to raise this issue. The case was hastily closed following Chris Watts's confession, leaving significant evidence unprocessed and potential accomplices unchecked. One such person is Nichol Kessinger, against whom there are serious allegations of involvement in this quadruple homicide case. There is a strong possibility that justice may not have fully been served due to local officials' failure to thoroughly investigate if anyone else was involved. The urgency of this matter cannot be overstated. We are dealing with a crime that claimed 4 innocent lives. The horrendous nature of this case alone demands more than this case was given by local government and the Weald County District Attorney's Office to find and convict all, you see that, guilty parties involved. It is our duty as citizens to ensure that all possible avenues are explored and every individual involved is held accountable for their actions. An investigation into the handling of this case by the district attorney's office should also take place. I'm writing this because this is something I care about deeply, and it won't happen without the support of people like you. Starting a petition isn't something I would normally do, but I was moved to do so because there is so much evidence overlooked and swept under the rug. I strongly believe that justice has not been served until Nichol Kessinger is truly investigated. There was obvious tampering with evidence and obstruction by deleting of texts and numerous other incriminating evidence overlooked in this case, even coming out of the Weald County's DA office. I know I am not alone, and together I hope we can make this change happen and bring true justice to any criminal act committed by people who were not charged in this case. We must urge the Weald County authorities to reopen their investigation into Nichol Kessinger's potential involvement as an accomplice, obstruction of justice, or tampering with evidence in this case. We owe it to those who lost their lives and their families who continue to seek closure. Please help to get true justice for Shanann, Bella, Cece, and baby Nico. It is an election year, and the only way change may be possible is to elect a new district attorney. Local residents of Weald County need to get out and to the voting polls this year and make a change. This is your community. It deserves so much more. Sign and share this petition today and join us in demanding a comprehensive reinvestigation into the Watts murders case for true justice to be served.
Well, I Googled Pamela Thompson. Thompson is a very common last name. It's interesting. She mentions the election year. So
it's not an election year yet, right? It's next year.
It already was.
Okay. So this is an old petition.
Yeah, I think she started it in December of last year because I want to say he just got reelected. He took the spot then. Because
those elections are every 2 years, right? So
yeah,
it would have been in 2024 and then it'll be again in 2026, right? Or is it on the odd years?
Well, actually, I think it's the odd years. It makes me wonder, is she from Colorado? If not, she's done some digging and knows that, the DA was going to be going up for election, but from what I researched, you guys, I don't think anyone ran against him. So I'm sure this woman, Pamela Thompson, has also reached out to Michael Rourke without a response. If you guys didn't know, his wife has a podcast, and he went on there talking about this case and pretty much made fun of everyone for thinking that Nichol was involved. They have deleted that podcast. It is no longer up anymore. So
What was that? I missed it.
oh, okay. His wife has a podcast. She is a sexual assault victim, and Michael Rourke, the DA, worked on her case. This was many years ago. After the case was done and over with, I don't know, they somehow met up and they formed a relationship, got married. I believe they have 4 kids. She has a podcast, and she had her husband on the podcast, I believe it was a year ago. And they talked about Nichol Kessinger, and he said it's ridiculous. I wasn't able to hear all of it because it's been deleted. But I don't know if that was a personal choice to delete it, or did his boss tell him to delete it? I reached out to his wife saying, "Can you tell me why you deleted your podcast? Would you guys be willing to speak out?" No response.
Would she have gotten sued and been forced to delete it and not, be allowed to tell people she was deleting it too? I mean,
Possibly. So, it makes me, he is not blind to the fact that people are bothered by this. And knowing a little, a bit about what you do next, I had reached out to Michael Rourke, didn't get a response 2 times. So I reached out to the Attorney General's office and explained the same thing again. I just launched a podcast. People are interested. They want to know, is this case closed? Was everyone, and I didn't even mention her name, were there other possibilities of people involved? Because Christopher took a plea deal so quickly, there are people who feel, and even Tammy Lee was quoted saying, "I feel like we didn't finish investigating." So I reached out to Lawrence Paccio, I think I'm saying the last name right, with the Attorney General. And I let them know. They respond back to me. "You need to contact the district attorney, Michael Rourke." So I said, kindly, and in a kind way, I wrote back and said, "I have tried several times to reach out to Michael Rourke, and he does not respond." And I said, "What would you do, and where do you go when a district attorney will not answer you?" And this was the response from Lawrence, which I was really surprised I did get a response. "Jennifer, the district attorneys in Colorado are independently elected officials, and they have the primary responsibility for enforcing our state's criminal code. The Weld DA's office prosecuted this case. You'd have to work with them. You could maybe reach out to the CBI," which I've already done. And then he said, "The Colorado Department of Law does not comment or engage in cases in which the state is not involved. I wish you luck, and thanks for writing." So at that point, I kind of gave up. But then when I saw this petition today, I did write the governor's office. May not get a reply back. I may get one of the media specialists kind of give me a vague answer back, but pretty much, just I have made it clear I am not saying she had any involvement, but I really feel for the people who want answers in this case.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious, but I don't know. My view seems to kind of fluctuate, and I remember the first time I heard about this case, my first thought was, "Well, what did she do? How was she a part of this?" It just seemed very plausible. Not knowing anything about the case, um, but the more fake stuff I keep seeing, or at least the stuff that I assume is fake, if it is real, somebody should, verify it, like somebody official. I think there's a lot of fake stuff floating around, and I
Absolutely.
just kind of, I don't know. When I saw that because I only saw that Nicole Kessinger video a couple days ago for the first time, and it felt really weird because somebody was spying on her in a funeral at a funeral,
Well,
and
confirmed that was a stream from the funeral home, because some people were not able to attend. But who leaked it? I mean, like, that's shady, to be honest with
I
you.
mean, it's just, you're mourning a loss of someone, and then I don't know, maybe somebody who attended was like, "Oh my god, she really is there. I'm gonna let everybody, know," because there's a pretty big community of people who are still talking about this case all the time, and it's pretty old, Um, I mean, we don't know. I mean, I think it looks like her, but maybe it's not. There's people who look similar, right?
Yeah. I mean,
But I mean, that was the first time I believed that she wasn't, intentionally in hiding, and that the state or somebody was helping her stay hidden. Um, and then with the other things, it just kind of makes more sense that she probably didn't do very much. Is she guilty of something? Maybe. I mean, maybe, some kind of smaller crime. I mean,
destroying the SIM card. Could you be charged with that? And
well, that's the thing. I think that Detective Kevin, he said, it's not illegal to do that. It's really not. It's not illegal to delete the stuff off your phone either. But deleting it right before, the police ask you for your phone is suspicious.
right. Are you able to access the folder, Rob? Because there was something
Um,
I dropped in there too.
I
Um,
I
it's for
think send me the link again because I've got my own drives and like I just access stuff I didn't even know I still had uh,
so
from like a year ago.
I had heard that she changed her name to Nicole Miller, which I thought was kind of funny because the people who bought the Watts home, their last name was Miller, and it's such a common last name. But I have a public record search document here is it easier if I drop it into Facebook to you?
I'm trying to find it. I think I might have found something. I see Chris Watts phone. I don't think that's it.
Send it to you through Facebook if you're able to save that to your desktop and pull it in. But this is her legal name change. Um, and it's
Nope, that was not the link. Um,
I just
oh,
dropped.
I see. There's a link. There we go. Um, but see, even this doesn't look like a real.
Wait a
Like,
minute.
is they got the whole image or?
I don't know what the link is, but it's a photograph. It's a screenshot that I took.
Okay.
And I dropped it in the book if that's
Yeah,
easy.
I found it. I just got to try to figure out a way to show it.
Gerald 2 Cents says there was DNA that wasn't tested because of Chris's confession. There were a lot of things not done, because of Chris's confession, which almost maybe the law needs to change where even if you do plead guilty, we still have to investigate and do a better presentation at court. I don't know. I feel a little angry that Chris was not forced to see what he did, but other people had to be victimized and deal with PTSD. Okay, so now I see it up on your screen. So we've got the birthday, July 1988. Wasn't her birthday, I think July 3rd, because they spent it together. Katrina, that was her friend Danielle. Her mother's funeral. And if you do search in the discovery for, I cannot even remember Danielle's mother's name, but if you do a Google search, the obituary does come up and it matches her. So it would be really crazy if Nichol knew someone that looked like her, that knew her friend Danielle, because the obit matches. There's another picture that I dropped to you where it shows her aliases.
I'm trying to find it.
See, oh, it's in Facebook too.
I see.
Also,
Yeah, save it real quick.
I'm checking chat for us too. Yeah, isn't that interesting? Like she's not hiding it, and I find it also interesting she did this in Aurora because she was originally arrested in Aurora, Colorado when she was 19 years old.
So what is her middle name? Is it Lee?
Yeah.
Isn't Chris's middle name also Lee?
Yes. And they were the baby Nico Lee.
Wow.
Mirabelle, yes, the discovery continues to dwindle down, but if you saved the PDF from the beginning, you have the original. I want to say mine's 2-something odd pages. But yes, it does continue. That's why you always got to screenshot things. Keeping an eye on.
But did you have anything else?
I'm checking our chat.
But so I got something to share that it's gonna be used for tomorrow's live that I've saved.
Yeah, we're gonna go live.
You guys can hear this. Tell me if you hear the music.
Itsy bitsy spider went up the water spout.
This also terrified my kids today. Well, one of them was like, I kind of like it. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about ghosts.
Yeah, all paranormal.
Hopefully, I might end up getting stuck at work late, but hopefully not.
Well, yeah,
I do have a plan at least this time, and one of my friends also might be joining us. Also, if I can figure out how he can join, I don't know. He doesn't have a YouTube like we do, but he might have a regular account. I don't know.
Yeah, I believe you could also add him on StreamYard. Yes, Mirabelle, I will figure out how to figure out the gift memberships. So
yeah, somebody else told me about being able to gift like 10 per month or something like that. I've never seen it. I've never had the option. I've looked many times. And, I would like to have more members. I only have a couple. I really appreciate the couple that I do have, but if I could give a free thing away, I mean, I would, but it doesn't let me. I've even checked on settings on the actual YouTube page, and I don't see anything.
At some point, I'm going to try to do another giveaway. No, they want you to be able to allow them to do gifts to you.
Oh, really? I think you can. I
Yeah,
don't know how you do
down
that.
Down by the chat, there's a little $sign, and it says, show your support for timeless mysteries. Let me see if I can flip my camera around so y'all can see what I'm talking about. But Mirabelle, I think it's right there. I mean, here's the thing. I don't know if memberships mean that would be like exclusive content you're creating just for members.
Well, with the members content, when I make a post, I can actually post things only that my members can see. I can do live streams only my members see. I just don't have very many, so whenever I do post something, they don't see it, and I know if there was more people, then they probably would be more excited to look for that stuff. But I did post chapter 1, which turned out to be too long to post as a post on YouTube, and it ended up being chapter 1, part 1 through 5. That's on my members page. But if you guys could see this document on the screen, this is tomorrow's discussion. Just to give you a little sneak peek of what to expect. I don't know if you guys believe in ghosts or not. I don't, but I think it'll be fun to talk about anyway.
I'm showing your PayPal, your Cash App, and your Venmo in case anyone wants to buy Rob a coffee tomorrow. I
think it allows me. Let me see if I can
see.
pull it up here.
I don't know why Mirabelle isn't seeing it, but in the chat, I see an option to make a little donation.
Yeah, I know I've got there's a setting whenever you get monetized, it lets you you can do stickers, I think, and other things. But I don't know where that is. Maybe it's in this tab. Yeah, memberships, supers and gifts.
Hi, Laura.
I've gotten a membership. No, a sticker, it looks like, from Gail Elliott and April Bishop and Lauren. I got I don't know. Yeah, I've gotten a few things, and I don't know how to share the sticker so you guys can see it, but there's this little cool little lemon thing dancing in a book on one of them. Kind of neat.
Okay, she says she sees the donations, but she wants to be allowed to gift memberships in chat. I know nothing about that, Mirabelle.
Oh, you mean to give memberships to other people? I think that is something you can do, but mine only lets me do gifts earnings. Nope, that's not it. It says gifts. It's checked on. Super chat is on. Super stickers is on. Super thanks is on, and that's all there is. So I don't know if maybe you have to right click on somebody else's name and see if it lets you gift them a membership or something.
No, you have to.
I don't.
Well, we promise we will take a look at it and figure out how it can be done.
Yeah, I think it can. I just don't. Well, let me see if I could show you this page. And let me see. Screen.
Hi, Laurel. I saw you snuck in. But yeah, if you guys want to join us tomorrow night, we're going to talk paranormal. We're going to talk ghosts.
So this is what I see, guys. You see those? It says gifts. It's all checked. I don't know. And there's that little lemon sticker thing. It looks like a little lemon person.
That's interesting. I wonder why.
Yeah, I don't know. But I appreciate those things, guys. If somebody told me that I can give out memberships also, but I haven't been able to figure out how to do it.
I didn't know that was a thing. It's cool
Yeah.
though.
Do any of you guys watch Para Woman Radio?
I did actually the other night. It's pretty
Yeah.
good.
I've been live on her channel before, but she told me you can give your subscribers free memberships, but I haven't been able to figure out how to do it.
That's interesting. We'll figure it out though, Mirabelle. The Wheels of Life said, I love this. I don't believe in ghosts, but the September lady at the Watts house body cam changed my mind. And I love that you called it the September lady, because that's really what I called her in my head, because the report, the police report was, I think it was September 19th or something like that. And that's how I remembered that incident. And there were 2 calls that night. We did have a discussion if we were going to do a Paranormal Watts episode. We were talking about it. But I think we should kick off with just paranormal ghosts in general. And Rob wrote a really amazing kind of story that we're going to kick off with tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't know. Yesterday I had a medical thing where I got sedated, and I wrote that afterwards. So it's a little weird. But we're going to talk about Gabby Petito's mom, how she contacted was it a TikToker, right? That does spirit boxes or something?
Medium. And some mediums, we'll talk about that too. Do you believe in psychics? Do you believe in mediums? I've done a couple of videos on my page where mediums have said they've reached out to Shanann. I thought they were pretty good. I don't know. I'm open to it. I'll say that. But I know there's some people who don't believe in it. So we will kind of hear from you guys. Are they real? Is it fake? Of course there's fakes. But are there some people who do have that gift? We'll kind of talk about all of that.
Yeah, I think it's more like, you're reading people and then you're just using your intuition. And so maybe they do intuit things, but not because it's coming from the other side, it's just coming from their brain, from what they see and smell and hear and touch and, all of that stuff.
Yeah. So
if you watch TV and movies, they're usually the psychics are like, stalking you before you come in and reading up your whole history so they can tell you everything you already know before you get there.
Yeah, there's a scammer. I got to think of his name. I'm not even going to say name because I don't want to Did
you ever watch that John Edwards guy?
That's who I was just about to say, but I don't think it was John Edwards. It was another guy who his producer.
Hey, Laura. Yeah, we're about to finish up, I think, but we're going to be live tomorrow. Probably talking mostly about ghosts, though. I haven't done anything ghost related on my channel in a while. So
Wheels of Life. I know I'm scared of talking about that stuff too, but I'm also intrigued by it. And we're going to talk about like lighthearted stuff too, like orbs or ghosts, angels that protect. So it's not going to be totally scary.
Well, everything I wrote is designed to be horrifying. Starting with the thumbnail that I made.
Then
I figured if I'm going to do it, I might as well go all out,
Right.
But I am a skeptic. I've always been a skeptic. Even when I'm like, see some stuff and I'm like, wow, that's weird. I just know it's my brain playing a trick on me. So I just, I got freaked out, but it wasn't a ghost. I might have thought it was at the time, but I know it's not.
Yeah. I think there's been about 6 times where I've been like, okay, that happened to you and you still don't believe in it. And you're like, well, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I think when you remember things, that's when you really like you get that chill, something's behind you and then something else happens. And then once you're done with that and you look back on it, that's when it all makes sense that it was a ghost, right? Because your brain doesn't know how to process all those little weird things and your brain makes it into a story.
Laura, if you have pictures of the orb, email them to me. I'm going to put my email in the chat.
The first time I ever saw orbs when I'm taking a picture, the first thing I thought of was Stranger Things. You know how when they go to the under or whatever it's called, and there's got these little like things floating around in there. Yeah, that's what I was like is in my house, and I was freaking out. And I showed you that video.
Yeah.
I mean, all my videos were like that. And you said, oh, I think it was a good ghost. So maybe it wasn't so scary.
I got. Yeah, I got by it that it was good. But yeah, there's my email address. If you have pictures of orbs or you have like, paranormal pictures you want us to talk about tomorrow, let's do it.
Yeah, leave comments if you got something you want to share. We could probably do that.
Yeah.
If you got like a ghost story you want to talk about, we can probably talk about it. But I've got too much stuff to talk about. It's all terrifying. So maybe we'll just do like the first scary thing and then we'll just go back to talking.
Yeah.
If it's too scary, I don't know.
Yeah, you don't want to scare them out of the chat.
I know it's like only 6 o'clock here, but it'll be like, midnight wherever everyone else is when it's the witching hour,
It is.
Everything's here in the dark.
Well, you guys, let us know. Obviously this is gonna rebroadcast on Rob's channel, and eventually I'll put it on mine. But throw your comments in the comment section. What do you think about this petition? And at this point, I don't.
I'd like to know if you guys are gonna sign it or not. I don't think I've ever signed a petition.
I have before. I've signed a petition. But
like, the guy at the grocery store is like, hey, can you sign this petition? Yeah. I think I might have signed one of those and I didn't even know what it was about. But I don't know. This is different.
It is. You're accusing someone of murder.
I'm not accusing him of that. I'm just wondering why that she wasn't investigated more.
People are, not you, Rob, but people are,
right. Well, what was that thing I just read about somebody threw a brick through somebody's house window? See, that's another thing I don't want happening. People being all vigilante on people that may not even have anything like any. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's crazy. Let the police handle it.
Well, I read the statement. If you came in late, you guys, I read a statement from the Frederick Police Department that I reached out about. It's been a month now. They feel it is closed. They feel it's done. I think we have to remember they are all traumatized from this case, but maybe there needs to be like another county that gets involved and looks over the evidence again. I don't know. I mean, I feel like
you'd think Nichol would want people to, finally know that she's not guilty, so she doesn't have to stay hidden. I mean,
I would too. And I am shocked. Someone wrote earlier in the chat, they are shocked she hasn't written a book. I'm shocked Nichol hasn't done an interview by now.
Right.
With Dr. Phil.
Well,
or something.
there's like a few things that just keeps bothering me about it. The biggest thing is like 6 weeks. Is that enough time to, talk to somebody and be complicit with, unaliving someone, I don't think it is. I don't think I've known one person who's ever mentioned this, like as a joke, is like, oh yeah, I've been with my girlfriend for so long and blah, blah, blah. She would bury a body for me. it wasn't real. He wasn't really saying that, but it was more like, she would, you know, go through all of it with me. Whatever happens, we would do it together, that kind of thing. But 6 weeks, though, like, that's kind of crazy, right?
I think those two had a really, really deep connection. I don't know about any of you, but yes, I've had those relationships, but like when I was younger, like when you're young and dumb, and you also have to think Chris didn't have a lot of girlfriends or experiences. So I think that his mind in this affair was a little more like, she said, I think he was more into me than I was into him. I kind of do believe that. But I don't doubt that the two of them weren't discussing marriage.
Well, if you think about it from the psychological point of view, if Chris Watts is, he's missing something in his marriage with his wife, and he's seeking that out even subconsciously, if she's validating him on different things, of course he's going to be like, yeah, I want my ego boosted or whatever. And so he is going to be drawn to that. And I mean, I can see that happening anyway. I mean, but we don't know if it was mutual, like that maybe they both had that. This is like it's not a fake relationship, but they're like, they see the perfect version of each other, and they're not actually, they don't know what after you've been with somebody for a while.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're imagining them as what they want them to be. And then that leads to expectations. And then, you put somebody on a pedestal, eventually, they're going to fall off, or you're going to get bored of looking up,
Yeah. Laura put a good comment in there. I have also wondered this too. If the conversations are not being had and comments are not being made because they are still investigating, there are cases that are open and they're not really giving update. I mean, like the John Benet Ramsey case is still open. This case.
That is an interesting point that I don't think I've actually considered yet, that they're not saying anything because they are still looking into it. But it seems like that's a lot of time to not find anything significant.
Maybe they've found things, but they want it to be so concrete that they are waiting for.
Yeah, the thing with speculation is it's a lot of fun to do, but
Right.
really making assumptions. I think in the second grade or something, we read Gulliver's Travel, and we learned about jumping to conclusions. Did you ever read that book?
Yes.
It's an actual place in the story, jumping to conclusions. It was kind of funny as a kid.
Yeah. I would, the burn after reading letter. Are you talking about, I think you're talking about a different case. That's the Gabby Petito case. But I wonder now, that someone is going to tell Chris that she was spotted and probably show him a picture of what she looks like. It makes me wonder if that's going to get him to kind of talk a little more. And the Dylan Tallman book, he did start saying she had more involvement. There's also an FBI call that, Rob, I need to do a request on, where a tipster calls Tammy. He's a prisoner who's gotten out, and he is like, I have information for you guys. They were planning to go talk to this guy and do a lie detector test, and nothing came of it. Now, I don't know if that means nothing came of it because we don't know, and maybe they're still investigating, or did they not take it seriously? I don't know. But I will put in a request for that call because I've heard it before and it's really interesting.
Well, I think I remember reading Chris say something in his interview from the February 2019 where he was like, you know, she sent me some weird texts where she was trying to make sure that I was really me.
Ah, yeah.
And that's in like the write-up of, I mean, not the actual, I don't think I've heard it in the actual recording of it, but you know, the actual record, but it is written in the thing, in the document version. And he says that. He says, well, she was trying to make sure that it was really me, and she told me to delete everything on my phone.
That's
And it's
crazy.
like,
I don't
if
delete.
that's fake, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it could be, right? I mean,
Yeah,
it could just be like personal stuff that she doesn't want in the news. I
right.
wouldn't want certain things in the news, I guess, but
I don't know if Chris deleted anything, and to be honest, I don't think he ever thought he would get caught. I don't think he deleted everything because he seems to be like one of those kind of weirdly sentimental guys, and he would want all of those text messages.
well, I bet he probably tried, but I don't think you can actually delete something, like delete it. Like the tech guys can find most stuff. I think you have to delete it like multiple times over and over to like reformat it enough that there's no image left of anything else prior, you know, on there eventually. I don't know exactly how it works,
And
but
I want to know what they saw on Chris's phone. Like, because Kovacs says, we're going to get the text messages whether you give them to me or not. And it's like, okay, so you have the text messages. Why not just, I mean, they did put some of them out there, but why did you not put all of them out there? I don't believe they.
well, my guess is it's probably a bunch of nonsense. Well, most of it, you know, most of it's going to be like hundreds of pages, you know, stacked up of just like everyday chit chat.
Well, there is
That's
a lot of everyday chit chat in there, and still we're
and
eating it up. But it's
well,
like,
that's because there's not very much of it, I think. But I don't know. They didn't. I mean, they could have gotten it all, and if even if it was deleted, I think there's a record stored like on your cell phone companies. Like, I think you have to. I think you can get those text messages from the phone company
yeah,
if you have the right warrant or whatever.
yeah, because he was telling her that he was going to reach out to Verizon because they have some type of deal. And she said, no, I'll give them to you. And the reason she said, I'll give them to you is because she didn't want them bothering Jim. So, because they
I
were
still don't know where that guy came from and why anybody talks about him. He
Jim,
doesn't. He
yeah,
just seems like some random person that.
Jim's on Facebook. That's kind of the shocking thing. And if you Google Jim, he is also in a lot of publications for geology. He recently graduated with a degree in something in that field in 2024. I cannot believe he has not spoken out or even posted like a Facebook post that says, hey, I had nothing to do with this. Or I mean, I just can't believe that someone, even in her family, if I'm not like telling you to go do this, but if y'all want to go be internet sleuths and go on Instagram and Facebook, you're gonna find people that are related to her and they look just like her. So I cannot imagine not one of these people speaking out and saying, hey, yeah, she's my cousin, but we don't talk. And what happened is horrible, but she had nothing to do with it. Or like something, anything. Apple
You know,
is,
I'm hearing some weird music maybe in my headset. It's like my microphone is picking up some ghost stuff maybe.
yeah, you're getting ghost stuff. Not getting, are you guys getting ghost?
No, I definitely got the background music off, but you know, sometimes I can hear the TV in the other room, you know, downstairs through my microphone.
Actually, Katrina, you brought up something about the Apple being different in 2018. I know there are some people who were saying that an unknown Apple device pinged into or tapped into the Wi-Fi at the Watts house. First off, I'm sure they had a password, right? So you would need the password to access the Wi-Fi. Chris also had an Apple Watch, and how we know this. So it was either Shanann's, probably Apple Watch, or his. People are thinking it was Nicole's iPhone because it was an Apple device. But Chris admitted that he had an Apple Watch, saying when he would take the Thrive double patches, he would see on his Apple Watch, it looked like he was working out all day. So that just kind of gives you an idea of how that made him feel taking the Thrive patches. But also, I think people are forgetting Chris had an Apple device too that could have accessed the Wi-Fi that morning.
Yeah, I've heard about that too, but see, I haven't seen the actual evidence. They say it happened, but did it really?
Right. And every person who keeps saying this to me, I tell them, can you tell me what page it's in the discovery? Because I've looked in the discovery and I could miss it.
I don't think I've seen a bill of my own that tells me how many devices are connecting to my router every month either. Like, I don't know if that's a thing on my bill that I just don't look at.
And I'm not saying it didn't happen, but like, I need to know what page in the discovery. And I think people don't understand. There are also people photoshopping things in the discovery, and then they post it online and it starts floating and circulating around. And then a person is like, oh, look at this new evidence. You can't trust, information anymore unless
The best lies are shrouded in truth.
Yeah.
So when they hide it in the discovery, if you pull the file off of somebody's page or whatever, and then, somebody pulls it off of your page and, you never know, you wouldn't know that something got changed. I read one of the things where Chris had said they'd asked him what he felt like afterwards. And, the actual thing says that he was, scared or whatever. One of the things I read said, I felt powerful. And I was like, holy cow, he said that. But it was fake.
Yeah, because I remember him not saying anything. I remember
he didn't say that. I can't remember what he said exactly, but it wasn't that. But I remember reading it and I'm like, what? This can't be real. It looked like the real document. But they just changed that one little part and it changes everything.
Yeah, and it's easy to do that with Photoshop, and all these apps out there. I do remember him telling Tammy Lee on his way driving to the oil fields, he was so angry that the girls were still alive, because remember, he had to do this 2 times. He was angry that they were alive, that he said he felt justified, that he could have killed anything that came in his path. So that means if he got pulled over by a cop, would he have done something? I mean, that's pretty bold word.
I don't remember hearing that either.
Yeah, he said that to Tammy Lee. This was in Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
And when he says that, it makes me think, him being that angry about it, were they a part of the plan in the beginning? Was he angry because he didn't want to have to do that?
Well, we know that it is a common thing for family annihilators to start planning this stuff ahead of time. It's very common. But it's, family annihilation is very uncommon as far as, people dying in that manner. It's not common at all. It's like very, very, very rare. And the ones that do it, they often plan it. They keep up appearance. They try to do all these different things. I did a story on John List, and the weirdest thing was he pretended to go to work for months after he got fired, just because all of his Lutheran neighbors would look down on him for losing his job. And that's just that extra stress. The money's not there. His reputation is hurt. They talk about those 3 stressors. His daughter wanted to go to Hollywood and become an actress, and he was very religious and thought that was wrong. He had all these things happening. But I'm not sure that he actually planned it. But Chris Coleman did. There's several others that have planned it. I don't know that there's any documentation that Chris planned it.
Well, there's documentation in the Sherilyn Cadle book. He said, and this word really disturbed me, he said he would fantasize about it. And
well, what does that even mean, though? He could be fantasizing like, well, what if they got, in a car accident and never come home?
Right.
But is he like daydreaming about, a bloody knife or something? That's
planet. And it was like, okay, like, no offense, but like, if that was the best plan you came up with, like, really? But also, what can we believe that comes out of his mouth? He might
I
have.
don't think you can really trust a murderer.
Right.
He's not just a murderer, because he's also a liar. He lied to his family first. He lied to everyone else. After that, he lied to his parents even. He lied to everyone. I don't know where they are. I just want them to come home, he said.
Yeah.
He's a liar. How can you trust him? He can say, well, I really swear it's really true, but he's already lied multiple times.
Kessinger did it. I kind of might be like, you're lying to me. Someone asked any new info on the homeowners. So I don't know if you know this, but the Millers who bought the home after the Watts family, they have moved out. They sold that house in less than 2 years. They have gotten a divorce. The house sold in October. In one of our last lives, we pulled up the sale of that house. I have not heard anything. I didn't really dig around. To be honest, I want to give those people their privacy. I hope that they don't have kids. I'm sure there's people still driving by the house. But I have not looked into it. I just kind of want to respect their space. Maybe it's someone bought it from out of this country and doesn't know how big of a deal the house is,
Yeah, I don't think you could not know. Like,
yeah, cool.
I guess you could. I don't know. Like, maybe they don't, research the neighborhood. I'm sure if you Google your neighborhood, it's going to pop up immediately.
Right.
I know when the last time I bought a house, it was like, I checked like everything, like, well, is it a good neighborhood for schools? Is it a good neighborhood for that? And it tells you everything. I don't think I've ever seen a house I was looking at that said, well, somebody died in that house. There was a murder in that house that made national news.
Yeah. Well, actually, it'll be interesting tomorrow when we talk. I want to research this. My mom is a retired real estate agent, and in the state of Michigan, if a house is considered haunted by the person selling it, or people who have sold it in the past, by law, you are required to tell the buyer that.
I read that in Colorado, you do not have to disclose that a murder took place in the house.
That's interesting.
Because I thought, well, why are they selling this house without telling people that? But in Colorado, I don't think you have to disclose that information. Because think about it. People are going to die in houses naturally. And if everybody had to disclose that, that would be like, well, every house is worth less now because you know, you had a family member pass in that house.
Yeah. Mirabella says the same in New York. Yeah, tomorrow I'll do a little more research on that before we talk about our ghosts and our hauntings, because I do find that interesting, because it's like something that you can't prove, but legally you're required to tell people, because if they want out and can't sell that house, you know, they're screwed. But from, I don't know, the Millers were really public online in the beginning. And I'm shocked they haven't made a post being like, this has nothing to do with what happened in this house, or, you know, whatever, or kind of shocked they haven't written a book, honestly.
They should write a book.
And I've been saying I was going to research Nate's mother, who now lives in his house, wrote a book, and I haven't done that yet.
I think the Watts house is a really nice house. It looks like a nice neighborhood, but you're going to have all the people driving by, you know, checking out the basement window in the back to see how easy it is to sneak in, you know, because
people taking pictures of your house. I mean, especially that was kind of crazy of the Millers to buy that house having young children, because there's no way I would consider buying a house where people are driving by and like taking pictures, just being weirdos. You know what I mean? Like, no. Just checking out our chat. Yes, any evil would be from what Chris and Nicole brought in. Yeah, there's a lot of speculation that he kind of joined in on, and if there was any witchcraft involved in any of that. I can't confirm. I know she did yoga, but I want to know what dark stuff means to Chris Watts.
Yeah, me too.
I want
Definitely.
to know what his definition is, because if it's like meditation and yoga, because it's, you know, considered new age, like that's not dark Chris. So I want to know what that means to him. What does dark mean to him? Chatting a little bit about hospice. But yeah, guys, I threw my email in there. I'll also throw it in the comments section when this gets loaded. If you have any ghosty pictures, orb pictures, send them our way, and we can pull them up tomorrow and take a look at them.
See, Katrina, that's really terrifying. I don't think I could move into a house where somebody intentionally offed themselves. Like, that just seems like bad vibes, no matter what. Well, I mean, obviously a murder is also, but I think somebody who commits suicide's probably spent a lot of time, you know, depressed, and that energy stays around, I think.
I also wonder if, let's see. Well, here's the thing, Cuff You. That's a funny screen name, by the way. I want proof about this cult.
I looked into the OTO. It does not seem legitimate. Like, the OTO is real, but was she a part of it? I don't think so. I also heard that she had a like spirit shop or something, like a psychic store or a yoga shop, all these different things, but I don't think she even owned anything like that, any small businesses.
I looked up something about the business license there and in Aurora and in Denver, because those were kind of like the three, you know, areas that she frequented. There is nothing there. And it's just another thing, like we talked about, rumors and speculation. Maybe she walked into a new age shop because she was into crystals, but she was also into geology. So maybe it wasn't dark stuff.
You know, I never made that connection, but I always thought, well, crystals they're not for evil things. When you buy a crystal, it's a positive energy, supposedly, you know.
And not just that,
So
rocks. She was into geology. I remember in college I took a class and I thought that it was fascinating.
Yeah, it makes more sense that she was collecting rocks that she liked, or, you know.
And so, you know, maybe one day she walked into a store and then someone's like, oh, she owns that new age shop. Like, just how the rumor mill.
I think a lot of the rumors just happen because somebody's just like, oh, I want to get a bunch of, you know, likes on my comment on Reddit. So I'm going to say something great. She had this. And then everybody repeats it. It's just a lot of rumors, you know. And I think this is why people in real news don't talk about this stuff. You know, if you can't, I don't know, if you can't verify it, it didn't happen. You know, in my kind of what I think anyway. But there is a video on my channel about the OTO. It's actually kind of interesting if you're curious about that. Let me see if I can find it. And I'll put it in the link here. I think we lost Jennifer. I think she's frozen. Are you still there? Yeah, she's gone. Okay, I'll post the link. But I don't know what happened to Jennifer. If I was Nate, I would have moved a long time ago. I feel sorry for that guy. You know, I actually feel sorry for everybody in that neighborhood because, you know, you're never going to get real peace in that place ever again. But I'm looking for the OTO video. And I know I have it somewhere. Here it is. I'm going to share this with you guys. You can watch it if you want to. I'll tell you the end. I don't think she's part of the OTO. But if you're curious about what the OTO is and why people would think that she might be a part of it, you can watch the video. And also, I just saw one of my, you know, this video I'm going to share the link to also. I had a lot of fun making this video. I thought it was going to do really good, and it got like 20 views or something. It's not Chris Watts related. I think that's part of the reason why. But it will kind of fit into the theme of tomorrow if you want to watch it. It is about a haunted house, and it's the real story of how it became haunted. Cuffy, what do you mean? I kind of missed what we were talking about then when you posted that comment. He was injecting himself into the news. He was, if you're talking about Chris, he was talking to the news, and that is odd, I think. All right, guys. Well, I think we lost Jennifer. It seems her battery has died. I don't know. I was actually only going to be on here for like 20 minutes, and I think we've been on for about an hour and a half. But I do plan on being live tomorrow. If it doesn't start on time, we will start eventually. I just might have to work a little late tomorrow night. But I've already got everything kind of planned out, at least how I want it to start. The end, you know, once we start, I think we'll just end up having a conversation. And it should be fun. But guys, it was great having you all here. You know, it just makes me want to keep doing more of these because I don't know, I was so tired when I started, and then here I am talking, and I feel like I'm wide awake again. It should be about 6 o'clock, maybe 6:30 if I'm late getting home, or maybe. Well, you know, I'm in Alaska, so I guess East Coast time, that would be 10 o'clock. about. I don't think it could be any earlier than that. But I am trying to do the Sunday ones earlier. Are you getting a Nintendo Switch too? I've got a regular Switch that I barely ever play. Sorry guys. Wheels of Life is talking about the Nintendo Switch coming out. All right, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and get off of here. But thanks again, and don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and you can always just play it in your background when you're not watching TV, and give me some average watch time hours. All right, guys. As always, stay kind, be vigilant, and always question the truth. I'll catch you in the next video.